Hey everybody, Nintendo Hodge back with another NES Road to 600 video. Pretty excited about this one. This is post Barrie Game Exchange pickups. So including my pickups at the Barrie Game Exchange and a couple of pre-pickups. I am adding 19 games to the collection today. This is probably my biggest add in one shot in quite a while. So my previous count before this was 525 games, I believe, and now I'm sitting at 544 NES games. I'll touch on that a little bit more at the end of the video, but let's get into it, and I'll go through my pre-BGE pickups first.
When I'm on the road.
I was in the Newmarket area and I happened to go into the Microplay. It's been a while since I've been there, and every now and again I seem to find some good grabs there. First one is Raid on Bungling Bay. For whatever reason, I thought this was a boat game, but it is not. You're like a chopper flying around shooting boats and things on islands and stuff. I couldn't quite figure out exactly what I was supposed to do, but it's a fun game for what it is. I'd be interested to play it a little bit more. We have The Bard's Tale, RPG style game, kind of. You select your character and you walk around a map, do battles. There's a couple games on the NES that are like this. I can't remember the exact names of them off the top of my head. But the funny story about this one is the one I was looking at had a big gouge right here in the top of the cart. And it was quite a bit cheaper, like $10 cheaper than a non-gouged one. So I was going to take the gouge one. And the guy goes, "Oh, I have one here. It's in better shape. You can have that one at the same price." So, nice. And an uncommon game, but not a super expensive game. Pac-Man Namco version. Pretty happy to see this. Honestly, you don't come across this one very often. This is one of the first times I've seen it in the wild. So very happy to add this one in the collection. Fun Pac-Man game, and it's actually 2 players. Sticking with the theme, Tengen Pac-Man Great Kart. So I have the black Tengen, but this is the actual licensed one. Basically, I think it's the same game as the other ones, but the other one I believe has 2 players. Not 100% sure what the difference are, but I now have Pac-Man Tengen Great Kart. Days of Thunder. It actually kind of plays like the movie. You show up on your motorcycle and you drive around. I can't figure out the cornering very well. I just keep crashing on the wall, but I did qualify for the first race. Yeah, Days of Thunder. Good movie, okay game. A very strange game, but I do enjoy it. Hatris. It is Tetris with hats. You have 2 hats that come down, you drop them on the bottom, and then you got to line up, I think it's 4 or 5 hats in a row, and then they disappear, and you can flip them around. More hats are added as you go further into the game. And then a somewhat more expensive game, not super expensive, and it's a fun one. I'm very glad to own it now. North and South. I was supposed to get this one from another vendor at the Barrie Game Exchange, but it had a bunch of like writing down the side there, so I didn't end up getting it. It was a pre-deal arranged, but this one kind of fell into my lap. Got a good deal on this and the Hatris, so happy to add it into the collection. So let's start off with a piece of NES memorabilia, non-licensed, but a cool NES holding case. I guess it holds, 15 games, if I'm doing the math correctly there. And it's pretty neat. If you look here, on the edges, it's kind of hard for me to do this. When the game goes in, it locks it in place, and then you have to press this button to slide it out. So it's kind of cool. I'm not sure. I might find a spot over here to put this to add some more games in it. Or I might put it over in the retro area to kind of house games that I'm in the middle of playing or something. But thank you very much to Regal Gaming for this. As well as Wizards and Warriors 3. Honestly, I totally forgot that he had picked this up for me, and we ended up making a trade, so I got to add this one to the collection. Thank you for the trade. I really appreciate it. Pre-arranged deal with a vendor at the BGE. Winter Games. Not very good. Not too many games on it. I prefer the Summer Games style ones, but I did okay on the bobsled. Where's Waldo? He is very easy to find, that's for sure. Wouldn't take long to beat this game, but I believe this completes the Waldo collection on the NES that I have both of them now. F-15 Strike Eagle, another flying around, shooting targets. There's, I believe, ground and air targets. Definitely not the best style of this one. There are better versions out there. It's still kind of cool. And Dungeon Magic. I'm not sure. I've seen other versions where this is a different color, and I'm not sure if it's faded or if there's a legit different version of it. I haven't really looked into it. Let me know if anybody knows in the comments. But this one was okay. Honestly, I'm not remembering a lot about it, so it couldn't have been that memorable. I just remember it being okay. Trade with another vendor. Xerxes, I believe is how this is pronounced. This is a fun game. I really enjoyed it. For whatever reason, I thought it was like a shooting game, like left to right or up and down shooter, but it's not. It is like not even a platforming game. It kind of reminds me of like a Monster Party style game. You have to go through the levels, go into doors, collect power-ups, and then you're trying to find like a secret key to be able to unlock the door at the end of the level. Xerxes. Just some random grabs from different vendors at the show. Akari Warriors 2. This game is horrible considering it is the sequel. I think the first one's way better. Not sure about the third one. This one is bad. Thundercade. I actually enjoyed this one. You're on a motorcycle shooting things. I believe it's in the style of like Spy Hunter, if I'm remembering correctly. I might be forgetting, but I did enjoy it. Rampart. I had a lot of fun with this. You're on an island. You pick a castle, and it's like tower defense, shooting boats and other things. And the better you do, the more cannons you can add. Lots of fun. One that I spent too much time with when testing these. We've got Off-Road or Super Off-Road or Ivan Iron Man Stewart's Super Off-Road, whatever you want to call it. Arcade port to the NES. So much fun. I remember playing this one in the arcade. It was the machine with the 3 steering wheels, and you have to drive around. You collect your power-ups. Tons of fun with this one. Obviously more fun playing with more people. And it is 4-player simultaneous action, so you can use the Nintendo 4-score with it. Down to the last 2, couple heavies added into the collection. Starting with Shatterhand. For whatever reason, I kind of thought I had this one for a while, but I did not. Now I do have it, and this is tons of fun. Platforming game where you punch people, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. Good times, and I got a good score from a vendor. And then the last one, I was kind of keeping my eyes open for a heavy to try to grab to add to the collection. A little bit heavier than Shatterhand, and we added Battletoads Double Dragon, aka like Battletoads 2. It's basically a Battletoads game that I've thrown in Bimmy and Jimmy from Double Dragon. Lots of fun. I found it easier than OG Battletoads. Not sure if that is the case, but I found it easier when I was playing. Thanks to the Retro Game Bros, made a trade and some cash to be able to add this one to the collection. So, as I said, 19 games going to the collection today. This holder really helped me out in holding these ones up, so everybody can see all these nice ads. Might be a cool thumbnail. I'm probably getting blocked out on audio-wise. But yes, 19 games added into the NES Road to 600. Let me just set this down here. And as I said kind of at the beginning of the video, I don't know if I might need to do some revamping of this. So, in looking at my numbers, Road to 600, I might need to push this to the Road to 622. I'm going to say Road to 600 anyways, because once I get to 600, we'll go from there. But there are 75 games left for me to collect that are $100 or less. So those 75 games would bring me to 622. And then there are 50 games left that are 100 or above to reach the 677. So pretty excited. Road to 600, very well on my way there. Sitting at 544 NES games. That is about 80% of the way to 677. Road to 600 has been awesome. Darby and I, so co-organizer of the Barrie Game Exchange, we're actually headed to Torgs in Columbus, Ohio at the beginning of November. So I'm looking forward to that trip to kind of see another gaming event out of the country and see what we can find and pick up. I know I'll get to add some really good games during that trip. All right, that is it for this episode. Thank you very much, and we'll see everybody in the next one.